Good morning, grandkids. I started this before, but then the gentleman that sweeps the hall was out there, started the electric sweeper, and it was so loud. So I shall try this again. This is the young wizard Dorkly in a land far, far away, and this is chapter 40. I feel a lot better today, so I hope my voice will be able to get through all this. The party was in full swing with music, dancing, and laughter. King Conley, in his short robe of royal blue, sashed with a jeweled band of gold, was proudly twirling his lady love around, smiling down into her upturned face. "How could I have waited so long to find you?" he said softly. "You weren't ready yet, my love," Inez said, "but I made sure I was there when you felt like looking." She smiled up at him. "I've had my eye on you for a while," she laughed. "And I'm so glad." And the king swirled her through all the dancers, passing by the smiling Dorkly, swinging Cindy around, his smile flashing his dimple, his hair flying about. As that number was ending, Dorkly led Cindy over to the table, and they both sat down, Dorkly huffing a bit and Cindy fanning herself. "You know, Dorkly, you are a lot more fun than I thought you would be, way back when you kept coming by Binderbong. I'm sorry I was always so rude to you." And she reached over and laid a lovely hand on his. Dorkly looked into her eyes as he lifted her hand to his lips. "It's okay. I've loved you since I first saw you. I'm just happy that you changed toward me. I just kept hoping." And he kissed her hand. "I was always leery because I wondered what a wizard was really like. I didn't realize you would be just like anyone else." She leaned back with a laugh. "And so much fun." Dorkly kissed her hand again, gazing at her lovely face. "I'm going to ask you a serious question to just think about. Will you marry me someday?" As the evening progressed, the king stepped up to his throne, raising his hands, waiting for everyone to quiet down. As they stopped dancing and sort of formed a half circle facing him, he said, "I hadn't planned on making any speeches this evening, but it seems a good time to me, with you all here." Everyone laughed, and he went on. He motioned for his son Dupree, then put an arm around his shoulders. "I want to announce tonight, while everyone is here, I'm naming Prince Dupree, my son, as successor to this throne." Everyone applauded and called congratulations as Dupree looked at his father, eyebrows raised in a small smile. I had not told him yet, but felt like this was a good time to let my decision be known. And he pointedly looked at his daughter Othello and saw her drop her eyes and look away. He pounded his son on the back and whispered for him to go sit down now. He held up his hand and said, "Don't go away yet," and he walked down the 2 steps and over to his table. Taking Inez by the hand, he led her with him back up the steps to the throne. "I want you all to know that this lovely lady, Inez, has agreed to be my wife." And he gave her a kiss as the room erupted in cheers and stamping feet. "I present to you your soon-to-be Queen of Winterhaven." And the room erupted again and couldn't be quieted for some time. The king finally led Inez down to the table, or down to the dance floor. Sorry. I lost my place, as the band started playing a quiet, slow love song, and the guests gave them the floor alone for a while, just watching them with happiness before they all started gradually to dance again. Conley and Inez soon left the dance floor and slipped away to his spacious dwelling. He was watching her in her lovely pink chiffon ball gown as he poured them some wine and wondered if that gown was going to be easy to remove. He smiled, thinking it's certainly going to be worth a try. Othello was sitting at the table, her jaws clenched, her lips thinning. Dorkly was watching her as he seated Cindy down at the table and excused himself. He hurried to his spire, went for his magical belt, which he had the king used before, and hurried back out. He needed to know, for the king's sake, what Othello was thinking right now. Dupree had also seen his sister's face. "I think trouble is coming if the king doesn't do something," he muttered as he walked over and sat down by her. "What's causing such a look on your lovely face, sis? A lot of wonderful things are happening, and it's a lovely party." He turned to William and said, "I haven't seen you two out dancing. Are you in the dumps too?" Othello turned her face toward Dupree and stared. She was afraid of what she might say if she opened her mouth. Her brother just sat there staring right back at her, as if he knew her every thought. She finally blinked and stood up. She looked down at him, then turned and hurried away. William turned to call out to her, but then turned back to Dupree. Dupree just shrugged his shoulders and picked up his wine and took a healthy swig. William got up and took after Othello. As Dorkly came back and stopped by Dupree. "Where's Othello gone to?" he asked hurriedly. "Who knows? Chasing a dream, I imagine, or a nightmare." Dupree took another drink. "You know, Dork, something's going to have to be done about her." And he took another long drink. Dorkly looked at him, wondering what he meant by that, as he walked on to his seat by Cindy. He bowed before Cindy with a smile and took her hand, leading her back out onto the dance floor. And once again his dimples sparkled and his hair was flying. Later that night, King Conley was in bed, wide awake. He had one arm holding the sleeping Inez close to him, and the other up behind his head, staring at the ceiling. He was happy with Inez and looking forward to their wedding. Yet all evening, worries kept flitting through his head about his daughter. Othello just wasn't acting right, ever since she found out she was going to have a baby. By now he was mumbling to himself and stopped, looking down at Inez, hoping he hadn't woke her up. She was sleeping peacefully. His eyes looked back up at the ceiling and wondered if Inez would act like that when she got pregnant. He smiled, thinking about that, and looked down at her again, giving her a gentle kiss on the top of her head. He looked at the table across the room and wished he could get a drink without having to get up. He finally snuggled down, turning over and drawing Inez closer, hearing her mumble something. "Well," he decided, "I will get a hold of Othello tomorrow and spend some time with her. We need to seriously talk and come to an understanding." He gave a deep sigh and let it all out for the night, and started thinking about his dear Inez as he drifted into a blissful sleep. So we will come back next week and we'll see what kind of conversation goes on between the king and his daughter, Othello. And so I will see you next time. Hope you enjoyed this chapter. And goodbye, everyone.